What's going on, guys? Back at you again with another video, and we're gonna break down the AFC and NFC championship games. Well, divisional games. We'll do the AFC and NFC championship games next week. So for now, we got Houston versus Baltimore. I think it's gonna be a fun game at first, but I think later in the game, Baltimore's depth and their savviness, because they have more veterans on that team, I think that's going to catch up to the Houston Texans, or that will be the story anyway. You know, they're going to show flashes of CJ Stroud looking really good, and they might even have a lead here and there just to get the blind bets, or the not the blind bets, the live bets running a little more. You know what I mean? They might have Houston take a quick 10-point lead, or a 3-point lead, something quick in the first quarter, second quarter, to get people like, oh my God, Houston might win. You know how people get. That's going to get people panicking and antsy and anxious. So they're going to play with your emotions with all these games. But I'm just trying to paint a picture with what I think will happen with Houston. Like, I can see Houston gaining a lead early, and then Baltimore recovering, and then just whiplashing them at the end, because there's some. I almost told you guys, but let's just say Houston has a lot of support. So, well, to cover the spread anyway, we'll say. But Baltimore, I don't know, man. If they really want to take the next step and be champions, they really got to start beating people down. I'm not talking winning by 3 points. I'm talking winning by 10 or more throughout these playoffs, winning convincingly. And I think they're going to do that on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know what day they play, but I'm picking Baltimore to win this game. Next, we got Kansas City versus the Buffalo Bills. With this, you guys already know one of my Super Bowl picks. My second one was the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. I'm choosing them because of all the turmoil and all the bullshit that they were saying was happening within the franchise. You had coaches leaving, coaches getting fired, players not performing. You had this and that. And I think they were doing that to get us off the scent, to make us think that the Bills aren't a contender anymore. Because the last 3-4 years, they were front-running contenders to win it all. No one's been saying that at all this year. Like, literally, they've been flying under the radar, but they've been good. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to be the one that wins. It's usually the team that flies under the radar. Whenever there's not a number one powerhouse team where they're above all better than everyone else. Like, we thought that was the Chiefs last year, you know? But there's no team like that this year. All these teams have a chance to win. No one can just definitively say, oh, they got it. You know what I mean? It used to be like that. It was like that with the Chiefs. We thought the Chiefs had that from the beginning of the playoffs. We all thought the Chiefs were winning. Like when the Chiefs finally met the Eagles in the Super Bowl, we thought about it. We were like, maybe the Eagles could win, but ultimately we all knew that the Chiefs were winning that game. You know. And how much are they going to beat down on Josh Allen? This will be year 5 that he loses to Mahomes. You know what I mean? In the playoffs. Like, I don't think they're going to do that to him for a 5th year in a row. Or maybe it might be 4 years. It's 4 or 5 years. Either way, that's a lot, man, for anyone to take. That's a lot. I think they're going to let him get it done finally. And this will be a down year. Well, not a down year for the Chiefs because they made it to the Divisional. This will just be like because even Tom Brady lost in the first round and second round. So you can't think that you're above Tom Brady. You know what I mean? You think you're going to play this long, illustrious career and never have a year where you're just not a champion? If you're not a champion, then that means you either didn't make the playoffs or you lost in one of those other 3 rounds. And if you didn't win a championship, it doesn't matter what round you lose in because you didn't win the championship. That's what the ultimate goal is. So why does it matter what round you lose in? So that's why, I don't know. I think the Bills, it would have been nicer to see them losing the AFC championship. Like, if they, let's say the Chiefs win. The Chiefs playing Baltimore, that's not going to be a good game. Like, Baltimore would wreck them. You know what I mean? You got to think logically down the road. If the Chiefs were to play Baltimore, if it were last year, it would be different. But this year, Baltimore is just better than KC. They're more physical. They're just, I don't think they're going to let Mahomes get embarrassed like that. And we already seen Buffalo beat Baltimore before, so that's why I think we're probably going to see Baltimore versus Buffalo. So I got to go with Buffalo to win this game, guys. I've never felt like I might be wrong. Who knows? I could be completely wrong, and then I'm going to have all the fanboys come at me. You were wrong. They lost. You were wrong. Like, as if I said I'm a psychic. Like, I'm guessing. I don't know who the fuck's going to win. You know what I mean? I'm just going based off of a feeling like women. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who's going to win. I have no insider information. I don't know. I don't have the script or anything in front of me. Like, this is just based off what I've seen throughout the year, the news, articles, play, the way they play, anything, the way what's being said, the story they're trying to tell. This is based off of everything. I'm picking the Bills. It's not just off of the game last week or one small thing. It's accumulation of everything. It's not one thing solely. It's many of things. That's what making this decision. So, like, the Chiefs can't keep winning all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Even like I said, the greats lose. So, why couldn't Mahomes lose? Like, this is his first time playing an away game. You know what I mean? So it's like this would be the perfect time to make him lose his first game. Unfamiliar territory. Or it could be, he finally won his first playoff game away and wins it, right? Like, if Mahomes wins the Super Bowl this year, guys, with the team the way it is, you know it's rigged. Like, if anyone tells me it's not rigged, if Mahomes wins it this year, based on the way the team is and how everything's gone, you're full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, and if that happens, my channel is going to grow because there's going to be so many people looking for answers. Because people are going to be like, how the fuck did the Chiefs win with the way their team was? Like, people are really going to be scratching their head. Because you need more than just Mahomes. And it's literally Mahomes carrying that team. And it's going to catch up to them. And I think it finally will against a team like the Bills, man. Because the Bills can compete with them. Every year, they bring these games to the last second. Overtime, last second, overtime, last second. Every time, right? So why can't the Bills just take it for once? You know what I mean? With the lesser version of the Chiefs. So that's why I picked the Bills, guys. So let's go to the NFC. And then before we do that, so we'll end up seeing Buffalo versus Baltimore, if I'm right. But who knows? We could end up seeing this. Let's think about that. Houston versus Kansas City. I mean, honestly, that's a fair matchup. But the problem is, which one of those two teams would be able to beat the Niners or Detroit or even Green Bay? You know what I mean? With the Green Bay, the way they're playing, with them having Jordan Love looking like the second coming of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre if they had a baby, I don't think Tampa would be able to beat them. But those three teams, Detroit, San Fran, and Green Bay, well, we already seen Detroit beat KC, you know what I mean? So, I mean, those other two teams up top are capable of beating KC. And Houston, we know they can lose to anyone, you know what I mean? They were the worst team in the league last year. I know they made the playoffs this year, but they're still a very young team, still learning, all that. KC versus Houston, that's a good matchup for those two teams, but it's not really two scary playoff teams when you really think about it. Like, are they going to really make the 3 and 4 seed just trump everything? I don't know, man. I'm going to go with my pick. Because anyway, the Baltimore versus Buffalo, that would be a much more exciting game. You got 2 star quarterbacks that are mobile. I mean, you have that with the Chiefs and Houston too. But the thing is, the Chiefs, they don't have that many weapons. So you don't, other than Mahomes, Kelsey's looking old. Other than Mahomes and old Kelsey, you only have Taylor Swift to market. And you know what, though? I'm not going to lie, though. That Taylor Swift thing is kind of fucking with me, too. Because why would they bring Taylor Swift to the NFL as this huge distraction just to have her lose. Like, she would be such an attraction at the Super Bowl if the Chiefs won. I wish she was dating Kelsey last year, man, just so it would have been easier to pick them and been like, yep, they win. It's just hard because back-to-back years, like, are they going to let them win back-to-back with the team in a lesser position? You know what I mean? Just because of Taylor Swift? Like, if they win solely because of Taylor Swift and what she brings to the NFL, all the fans and extra money, then you guys should know the NFL sold out. And it's completely faker than shit, man. Not that it's not, but, like, how much more evidence would you need if the Chiefs win? Taylor Swift all up in the booth with that red lipstick. Like, come on, guys. Because the Chiefs, we have to look ourselves in the mirror. They're not that good this year. They're not. They have holes that need to be filled this year. If they fill those holes this year, such as receivers, because they need two at least, because their receivers suck dick. All right? I don't want to hear about Kadarius Toney anymore. So they need two receivers, right? And it's looking like they might need a tight end because Kelsey has been looking old and battered. So, you know what I mean? So you need those three things. And then if you have at least those three things, then come talk to me. And they still need O-line help because Mahomes never feels comfortable in his pocket. He's always on the run, always scrambling. His tackles always false starting. So there's some holes, guys. I know Mahomes is good and he covers up a lot and makes shit happen, but at some point it's going to catch up, and it might be this week. And even if they did beat Buffalo this week, they're not going to beat Baltimore. And Houston would give them fits, you know what I mean? But I guess if they made it to the conference championship, the Chiefs, I would have to just pick them all the way. Because it's like, how you going to have them beat the Bills at home after all this bullshit? It would just be very disappointing to see KC win this game. And I'm not a fan of the game or of any of these teams. All right. Detroit, Tampa. I think this will be a high-scoring, fun game to watch at first, you know. But then eventually I think Detroit just becomes too physical. And they might have a little bit more team speed because Tampa Bay is a bigger team, a little bit slower, you know what I mean? So that's why it's just a weird matchup. I think Detroit can attack them in different ways that Tampa might not be ready for. Because Detroit, they have a lot of different plays and trick plays they come at you with, so you don't know how they're going to scheme you. And they can run the ball. Detroit is a legitimate football team, guys. Like, if Detroit made it to the Super Bowl, guys, like, you better not think that that's a fluke, bro. Don't be surprised one bit. Like, I can't believe I'm saying it, but the Detroit Lions have a legitimate shot of making it to the Super Bowl. Watch them lose this week now. Now, if they lose this week, you guys are going to be all over me. Like, what? What'd you say? Like, but again, guys, I'm not a fucking psychic. So, like, stop with that. I'm just guessing. I don't know who's going to win. I'm guessing. My good guess is as good as yours. Or my bad guess. So, because, like, I keep thinking about Mike Evans and Godwin. So, like he could throw it up to them, but they really don't have a run game, really, usually. So, and Detroit, they're pretty decent on stopping the run. It's the pass game where they struggle. So Tampa's probably going to attack their pass defense. That's what I'm thinking. It almost feels too easy to pick Detroit, but I think Detroit's going to beat Tampa Bay. Finally, we have a lion at the top of the league, or near the top. Like, how can you be a lion and you're a terrible team? Like, you're the Lions, the king of the jungle. You have to be at the top of the league. Top of the food chain. Alright, now the last game, Green Bay versus San Fran. I don't know, it's a 10-point line. This is a tricky game, guys. It really is. Because we don't know what we're going to get out of Green Bay. Are they going to still be hot? Are they going to look like the second coming of Aaron Rodgers' team from 2011 that won the Super Bowl? If that's what we're going to get, then Green Bay is going to win this game, guys. You better believe it. And Jordan Love's going to be all over the field, running around, making plays, making Brock Purdy look like a dummy. You know what I mean? So, that's my only thing. What version of Jordan Love are we going to get in the Packers? Are they going to be able to run the football with their running backs? And are their receivers? They got like 5 good receivers. Are their receivers going to get open and be productive? It's just a lot of questions. Because if those two things happen, the Green Bay can win this game, guys, and shock the world. Like, I'm talking shock. But people wouldn't be shocked because we saw what they did to the Cowboys last week, and no one was expecting that. This was supposed to be Cowboys-Niners rematch, people were thinking anyway. And no one thought Tampa Bay was going to beat the Eagles. And speaking of the Eagles, I think Bill Belichick's going to go there, guys. You gave up 32 points to the Buccaneers, who scored 9 points the prior week. To Carolina, guys. They only were able to score 9 points on Carolina. You understand that, guys? The worst team in the league. And Philly let them score 32 points. So what should that say about Philly? That should tell you a lot. It should tell Jeffrey Lurie that he needs a defensive coach and a coach that knows what he's doing. Because Nick Sirianni's not a good coach. He's a nobody. He sucks. Like, I don't mean to get on his name like that, but he's not a good NFL coach. You know what I mean? So it would behoove them to go get Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick, I'm not saying they'll win a Super Bowl with him, but they'll be a lot better than what they are. And the players will play a lot harder and look a lot better. Maybe. Who knows? Your argument could be like, it didn't look like that in New England. Well, he was there for 24 years. That message probably just got worn off after 20 years. After a while, a message gets old, you know. Some coaches, it lasts longer than others. His lasted for 20 plus years, you know. And others last a year or two. Sirianni had a year, you know. Half of one, because they went 10-1 or whatever, and then they hit a wall. If they started the year the way they ended it, they wouldn't even been in the playoffs. So that's really what should tell you. If the Eagles continue the way they're going and they keep Sirianni as their coach, they're going to start the year next year and literally be 2-8. I promise you. But if they pick up Bill Belichick, they're going to have a chance to make some noise. So Belichick is probably going to go Eagles or Washington because he's an East Coast guy. I can't see him going out west to the Chargers. And I can't see him in Atlanta, even though he did see Atlanta's owner. I really think he's going to stay up in the Northeast. That's where his family is. He's older. He doesn't want to travel a lot. Private jet to practice. I think I can see Philly because he's been in Boston and does the whole thing here. So I can see that. And even Washington, too, because they got the number 2 pick, right? So they're going to get one of those guys. Then their franchise is reset. And he'll be able to do what he has to do. And they'll give him a lot of control. He'll be around Magic Johnson and the Warriors, old GMs there, too. So it's going to be a lot of great minds near each other. So those are my 2 picks for Belichick. But anyway, back to the game at hand. I don't know, guys, because I could see it being a divisional matchup, Green Bay versus Detroit, but no one wants to see that because we see that twice a year. Why would we want to see that in the NFC Championship? And how much ratings would that really get? It's basically a divisional NFC North match. I think they're NFC North. Like, who wants to see that? I don't know. But this right here, that would be a good matchup. The Lions versus the Niners. That probably would be a much better matchup to see. Dan Campbell, and then I don't want to give any spoilers on my pick next week if this happens, but that would be a pretty cool game to watch. I don't know who to pick out of those two. It'd be really close. Because Jared Goff is better than Purdy, in my opinion. Christian McCaffrey. And they have, what the hell is that guy? Jahmyr Gibbs. So, I mean, the running games is very similar. You know, McCaffrey is not much better than Gibbs and the committee of backs that they have. He's just not. the receivers. I mean, Amon-Ra. They got Debo Samuel. They got the tight ends, both teams. So like this is actually a really good matchup. Detroit made a really, like I said, Detroit, they have a really good O-line. They have great receivers, good running backs, and a committee of them. They got a quarterback that's already been to the Super Bowl, and their D-line is pretty dang good. Linebackers, okay, and their DBs are good enough. So I don't know, guys. I could see this happening. I could see Detroit potentially beating San Francisco, but it's going to be a damn good game. Both D-lines are going to be going at each other because I don't know that the league is going to want Brock Purdy as the franchise or as the face of the whole league. He's a 6-foot quarterback. Like, those are everywhere. Like, literally, they're everywhere. Like, I just don't see it, man. We have much better quarterbacks. Josh Allen would be a much better face of the league than Brock Purdy. Like, let's be honest. Like, Brock Purdy is a system guy. You put him on the Bills aren't as good. You put him on any other team than what he's on, and he's not going to be the same player he is. That system is almost tailor-made for his play style. The way he plays and moves, it's literally made for Brock Purdy and no one else. That's why everyone else just looks awkward in that system. It's like they found the perfect guy to run that system for him. Matt Ryan looked weird in it, right? Jimmy Garoppolo looked weird in it, though effective. Trey Lance could never get a piece and a hang of it either. Now, all of a sudden, you find this awkward kid out of wherever, Illinois, or where the freaking hell he was. And you mean to tell me the 7th round pick, or whatever he was, is better than all these players? It's not really likely, so I know he played a lot of football there, but it's not likely. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go San Francisco just because I talked myself out of Green Bay. Because we saw them twice a year play. If we go back to the film, like, why would we want to see that again in the NFC Championship game? If anything, we want to see another year of improvement from those two, and then maybe next year, but really we wouldn't want to see that as a championship game. It's just weird, Like, we need to see you for a third time? It's almost like, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to see a movie 3 times? After, like, seeing that movie twice like we did during the season is good enough, you know what I mean? It's the same thing because the NFL is a TV show. So if you go back and watch those films on the games, it's going to be the same thing because they're the same coaches. They have the same philosophy, so they're going to run the same plays, you know what I mean? So why would you want to watch that? Because there's 32 teams. You want to see different teams so you can see different styles of football and different schemes and mindsets of attacking and defending. So that's what I would say. So that's why I think I'm going to go with these 4 teams. And I kind of want to throw an upset in there. I feel like the upset, I don't know, because all the home field teams are pretty good teams, you know what I mean? Like, so it seems hard to pick an upset out of these games, but it's going to happen. One of these 4 teams I picked is going to lose. For sure, 100%. It could be the Bills because he's playing against the Golden Boy. Like, which is why Baltimore is my second pick in case that happens. If, let's say the KC does win, let's say KC beats the Bills, then Baltimore is winning the Super Bowl. If KC beats the Bills and has to play Baltimore, Baltimore is going to beat them and then win the Super Bowl. If KC loses to the Bills, then the Bills will beat Baltimore and go to the Super Bowl and beat whoever is in the Super Bowl. That's my final offer or answer. All right, so yeah, if they play, I'd pick that. If these two play, I don't know who I would pick, honestly. Bills versus Detroit, I think I would probably go with. Because the Niners, that just seems, I don't know. Hey, maybe if you add these 2 colors together, does that make purple? You know, and then you got the red right there. There's your purple and red. I don't know. I'm not sure how colors work with combining. I guess this would just be a darker blue. But if you combine this blue with the red and this dark blue all together, what color would that make? That's a good question. If you know, put it in the comments. I'm not really good with that artsy stuff. But yeah, I could really see this Super Bowl because this Super Bowl this would be cool too. But either way, I got the Bills winning. Whether it's the Bills versus the Lions, I got the Bills. This would be a fun matchup to watch too, you know. But maybe San Fran has more superstars. I think Josh Allen would get more credit for beating the Niners in the Super Bowl than the Liners, just based on the history. Like, it just sounds better. Oh, I beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Oh, I beat the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's not going to sound, even though they made it, it's not going to sound like a flex because they haven't won a Super Bowl ever. You know what I mean? So it's going to be like, all right, so you beat a team that's never, ever won a Super Bowl. But when you beat the Niners in the Super Bowl, that's a team that's won more than several. So I think they're going to try to make Josh look good, as they should, because he is a good player. Like, let's not act like he's not, but it's fake football, so a lot of the stuff is handed to him or given to him. So there's that. But other than that, I think it's going to be Buffalo versus the Niners or Buffalo versus Detroit. My third choice would be Green Bay, and I don't think Tampa Bay has a shot at all. On this side, Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City, in that order. I mean, Houston can beat Baltimore. I don't think it's gonna happen. Not this year. I think because they're trying to pay their dues to their players. You know what I mean? If they make Lamar lose again, then you know that's his MO is to choke in the playoffs. Like, I don't want to bite on that MO yet. Like, I don't know if that's his MO yet, but if he loses to CJ Stroud in the first round, that's his MO, guys. And he'll probably never win a Super Bowl. He'll always be great in the regular season and lose in the playoffs. Probably until he's about to retire, then they'll let him win his Super Bowl and he'll sail off to the sunset. Maybe. We've seen that script many a times. But I'm going to end the video here, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And stay tuned for Saturday. Actually, I'm going to try to get some work in on Saturday. So if I get back in time, I'm going to be back in time for the game. But if I have enough time to make a video, I'll show you guys where the money is before the game so you don't get blindsided. And we'll go from there. And then picks next week. And I'm going to try to do the rest of the breakdown of this, the wild card tomorrow of this game. I'll try if I have time. If I don't, then we'll just wait till next week. Because we'll have 4 games. And we'll be able to talk about more shit. So it might be better just to wait. Also, so I don't get burned out. Because this is a lot, man. It's a lot. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.